I renovated a meth house and I made over $120,000 in 3 months. Today, I'm going to share with you my story of how I renovated a meth house. I bought this property off market and I spent about 120K doing a complete gut and clean out and turned it into a beautiful home where I was able to provide a new place for some tenants to move in. In today's episode, I'm going to talk to you about what was it actually like renovating a meth house? What was actually involved in the process? What are some of the key things I recommend to anyone considering buying a meth house? And what did the numbers look like? How much did I invest into each area of the renovation? And overall, was it worth it? So stick around because today we're actually going out in the field and I'm going to show you this house. I'm going to show you through the property, the befores and the afters. And you're going to see what it takes to transform a home just like this one. In case you don't know me already, my name is Steve Williams and I'm the founder of W Property Advisory, and we help people get into the property market and get ahead. And I've been helping investors across the country, buying growth markets. But today I'm going to actually show you my personal story because aside from helping people do this, I also do my own property adventures as well, if you call it that. And I really want to share with you my story of my most recent renovation. Just to really paint the picture, why don't we go take you on a tour of the property? This was back from before we started the renovation. So I've just settled on this property and sadly for the previous owners, it was completely trashed by the tenants. There's crap absolutely everywhere. I don't know what's going on. I think that might even be asbestos. That has to go. The garage has been destroyed. We've got just stuff everywhere, right? Like there's graffiti, there's stuff. We've had even, cracks in the walls just here. We've actually had cleaners come through here already. Unfortunately, I can't turn the lights on because the electrical is so stuffed up that if we turn it on, it might cause a problem. We've also had the gas disconnected because the whole water system's totally blown up and they've actually taken the copper out to actually sell it to make money. But yeah, as you can see, it's totally gutted. This is after a good clean. It actually feels a little bit like a haunted house in here. It's pretty rough. And geez, I tell you what, the stench in here. Now, this bathroom, totally stuffed. Very, very ugly. Was original, but as you can see, totally destroyed. We've had to remove all of the doors because they were quite severely damaged. The toilet, it's a mess. We've got some original carpet still here that we're going to have to get taken out. Now come check out the backyard. Like this, we've got PowerPoints hanging out of the wall. We've got graffiti on the ground. Now come check out this hot water system. Absolutely blown. And they've actually stolen the copper from the house. So yeah, apparently you can make money from that. We've got rubbish sitting out the back here. And guys, check out this pool. Absolutely trashed. Let's go take a look. We've got the fence totally destroyed. It's been kicked down. The pool is green, half empty, and you can actually see the wall over there is actually bowing and it's actually causing the pavers to collapse in. Not great at all. It's going to be expensive. We've got a quote for about 18 grand, or it was about 10 grand to get it removed. We decided to keep it because it's quite a feature of the house. We've also got a bit of graffiti there to the garden shed. Now come check out this pump system. Definitely going to need a new pump system. So it's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to transform this house. We're going to take it from this absolute shithole to something really impressive that's going to be a great family home. A family of 5 perhaps that can move into this property and enjoy it, and it can live up to its former glory that it was back in the 90s. As you can see, I really had my work cut out for me. There was a lot of work to do with this property to turn it around, to make it a livable place for some tenants to move in. But first I want to talk about how did I actually find this property. This was a deal that I got off market, and the reason why it was sold off market was because there was actually profanities and stuff which I didn't show you in the video that was actually painted around the house, which was actually quite offensive. So to put photos up online, probably not a good idea. And even though it was off market, there were a few other people interested in the property, but I was successful in buying the property at $478,000. At the time, if this house was in a more livable condition, it probably would have been worth around $620,000. So I got a really good price for it, knowing that I could completely transform it and turn it inside basically into almost a new home. And I really just wanted to, shout out to the previous owners. It's quite a sad case to see when this happens to a property. And all I would say is if you are looking to buy a property, make sure you get a good property manager and also get landlord insurance if you want to prevent this from potentially happening to your property as well. So let's talk about the process of actually turning around a meth house. So meth houses have two different scenarios. One is either a cookhouse or one is a smokehouse. And I'm no expert on this, but I'm just sharing my knowledge from what I learned along the way. So essentially, a cookhouse is where they actually manufacture the drugs. So the chemical, infiltration into the property can be a lot higher because they're actually producing the drug there. Whereas a smokehouse is essentially just means when the occupants have smoked ice inside the property, which also can be quite damaging, but it just means the levels on the readings are not quite as high. When I bought the property and spoke to the agent, I was told that there was potentially meth house smoking in the property, so unlikely to be a cookhouse, but they did offer to do a swab test, and they actually had someone go through and swab 4 of the rooms. Now, with the testings at the time, there was 2 methods you could test. One was like a COVID test. It kind of looked like a full COVID test that was actually put on the walls in different rooms around the property. And it either returns a positive or a negative reading. If it's positive, it means that it meets over the threshold, so it's likely contaminated by crystal meth. The second step is a swab test where they actually get a swab and actually send it off to a lab to test the concentration of meth. And they did this throughout the house. They tested firstly 4, but then when I settled on the property, I went through and got a full test of the whole property. So I had 12 different swabs done around the property, and it actually came back that around 4 of the locations in the house were over the safety level, which meant that it needed a really deep clean. I was fortunate that it meant that it didn't meet the criteria, which actually requires all the plaster and the walls to be almost knocked down and rebuilt. But it meant I could get cleaners in there, and they used different chemicals and cleaning methods to clean all the residue of the meth out of the house. So that's what I knew at the time, that there was meth smoking in the house. And then once I settled, got these testers in to find out just how much of a problem is it. And guys, what I've found in this process is that it's a very odd industry, meth testing. I had 3 different companies come through the property. The first one were going to quote over $20,000. It's like they didn't even want the job. The second one quoted around $14,000. Again, didn't really seem they wanted the job. And the third company were actually fantastic, and they quoted around $9,000 to do the meth cleaning. So naturally, I went with the third company. I was also reassured that at the end of it, they would actually do another test. And if it was over the criteria, then they'd go back again and do another clean as well. So what happened in my situation was they did the test. It was over the limit for the second time. So they came back and did another clean. We had to wait a few more days for everything to settle. They did another test, and then it was given the all clear. Then I was issued a certificate to say that everything is safe. The next question you might ask, do you need to let people that are moving in know? Now, this depends on your state or territory. Speak to your property manager, but it is good to disclose this to potential tenants. But according to the reports and the professionals, the property was safe to move into. And we actually went to the next level because we totally repainted the house, removed all the floor coverings, and also did this cleaning. So it was a safe property to move into. But for the peace of mind, I think I would rather tell my tenants than to not. But all I can say is if you are getting a meth clean done, firstly, or when you're buying it, make sure you know whether it's a cookhouse or a smokehouse, because if it's a cookhouse, it could cost you a lot more money to repair it. If it's a smokehouse, it can still vary, but always ask those questions. And ideally, if you can get the swab test before, it does, cost quite a bit of money, maybe a couple of $1,000s to get the test done properly. And if you are getting meth cleaners in, make sure you check their credentials. There's no real qualifications, I've been told, in the industry, so anyone can kind of set this business up. Now, this depends on your state. This property in particular was in Western Australia, and at the time, there was no qualification as such. You also want to get multiple quotes because they did vary substantially. And I think having that guarantee that they'll come back and test it again if there's any problems, that really gave me the peace of mind. Now I want to dive in and show you what was my actual budget for the renovation and how did I transform this from what it was, what you just saw, to the property that it became. All right, so these are the numbers here. Purchase price, $478,000. I spent $2,900 on a new garage. It was totally buckled in and had panels missing. The meth test, the first one was $1,440, and then the meth clean was $8,593. Now, you would have seen the pool was absolutely trashed. It needed the side wall to be repaired because it was actually bowing in. It needed a new filtration system and also needed the pavers to be repaired. So I got a pool company to do that for $18,128. I could have got the pool removed for $10,000, but I decided I'd spend the extra $8,000 and I guess keep the backyard looking nice and tidy. And you're going to see the results soon, and it turned out pretty well. I got the fences painted because it had graffiti on it and I wanted to turn around and make it look new. So I spent $2,300 on that. I put a new fence down one side of the property because it had been knocked down. So that was about $5,500. Painting the whole house was about $5,500. Now that is on the cheap side. Probably wouldn't use those painters again because they kind of cut a few corners, but I had some other quotes for around $6,500. I had a tiler come in, and I think this price is absolutely fantastic. $8,000. He did the laundry, the ensuite, and also the bathroom. I don't think it's going to be that cheap if I did it again. Then also I had all the plumbing done by a plumber, which was 10 grand. And then we had the all the the sinks and different bits and pieces requiring for all those wet areas. So that was about $1,500. New kitchen was about $14,000. Again, I think that's a fantastic price. Really good kitchen person I had there. Next, we had appliances. We need a new oven and a dishwasher, and that was about $1,900. I then had some electricians come through, replace all the broken lights. We put in some downlights to really brighten it up and bring it alive. That was $7,500. I then had a gardener come in. They came in, removed all of the weeds and put down some chip and really tidied the place up for about $2,400. The floor coverings, I had carpet put throughout the bedrooms and then floating timber floorboards through the living areas. Then we had a hot water system. It's a gas system for $3,400. Replaced all the doors for $2,000. Did a bit of a handyman tidy up and clean and included a skip bin for $5,000. Got a pressure cleaner in to bring all those outdoor areas looking nice and clean. That was $800. We had new blinds put in for $2,698. The evap system turned out it wasn't working, so I got that replaced. That was $3,880. The split systems, I have not put those in just yet, but it is something on the cards, and I got a quote to put 2 systems in for $3,000. We were then going to, we had some gyprock repairs, so that was $1,500. Had to reconnect the gas, so that was $180. And then had a plasterer come through and tidy a few things up. So overall, the renovation cost came in at $120,885. And with the purchase price in total, it was $598,885. But you can see I had a bank valuation done, which came in at $725,000. So essentially the property went up in value by about $126,000. So for, I guess, about 9 weeks worth, was it worthwhile? Well, I can tell you it was definitely a lot of work, but let's just wait and see what that result is. All right, so let's start at the front of the property and go for a little bit of a whip around. So as you can see, we've got the new garage put in, we've got the front garden all tidied up. We've really brightened it up. We've actually put in floating timber floorboards, a new paint job, new window furnishings. You can see the bedrooms have carpet. We've got a beautiful living area with a brand new kitchen and also a new laundry as well. And you can see we went for some really natural tones to keep it nice and modern. So in the bathrooms, you've got that gray and then the wood and timber look out in the living areas. But as you can see, it's definitely brightened it up and things are looking nice and clean, almost like a new property. And if we head out into the backyard, we can see that the backyard's been totally revamped. We've got the new fences that have been repainted and a new fence put down one side. And look at the pool area. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful, pristine, looking really, really good. All right, so the renovation was done and I'm pretty happy with it. Was it worthwhile doing? Well, I can tell you it did take a big chunk of those 9 weeks, even though I actually outsourced most of the work out to tradespeople. I actually did very little of the heavy lifting. I did a little bit, bits and pieces here and there, but I did outsource most of it because I was busy with my day job as well. So essentially all of this was done at a fairly decent price. I think the key here is really making sure you buy well. Now, if I hadn't got that at such a good deal, it may not have actually been worthwhile doing it. So if I had bought that property at say 550, 570, then my profit probably would have been over only about like, $50,000 to $70,000. So would that have been worth it? For a lot of investors, you might have been better off just buying a property in a growth location and just leaving it and let it do its thing. But I really wanted to see what it was like to take this project on. Overall, I did find it enjoyable, seeing that transformation from before and after. I then put it on the market for rentals. We had about 30 groups go through the property. In this suburb, the vacancy rate is less than 1%, but we had about 30 groups and there was around 9 applications, and I chose the tenants who ended up paying $720 per week. You also would see there is a pool, and a lot of investors say don't buy properties with pools, but I found a pool cleaner that would do it for $100 a month, including pool chemicals. And so far, so good between the tenants and this pool cleaner. The pool has been well looked after. I have to say there was definitely a lot of learning about the meth cleaning process, and it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. You want to make sure you have good tradespeople and good advisors to help you get it livable. And it's something I guess you don't want to skimp on, because you are talking about the health and safety of potential future occupants. So I rather err on the side of caution and do it the right way. If you have any questions or comments about this process, pop it into the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I do answer to all of the comments. And please subscribe to the channel so we can see you again next week. Well, I hope this has been helpful, and good luck on your project. And until next time, let's rentvest and get ahead together. All information contained in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider your individual circumstances. You should consider the appropriateness of this information with regards to your individual objectives, financial situation, and needs, and speak to a professional.